So finally, it's winters in my city as well. The rains have kind of vanished and it's not been raining of late. And I feel that we are already into the winters. So guys, now it's very important. Only the variety of Echeveria, the genus of Echeveria is going to go dormant. Whereas majority of the succulents like sedums, graptovarias, graptopetalums and sedivarias are going to get into their growing period. So basically right now majority of the succulents are going to be in their growing period apart from echeverias. So if you are from a place wherein you do not experience snowfall or you do not have frost or your temperatures do not drop below 10 degrees Celsius, then it's absolutely okay to keep your succulents outdoor. It's not going to be much of an issue. In my city as well, currently the temperatures are fluctuating between let's say 17 to 18 degrees Celsius at night. But during the afternoons, it's a little bit warm. So it's a mix of cold and hot weather. And it is fluctuating a little bit. Now, because of that afternoon warm sun, a lot of my echeverias, instead of going dormant, are showing signs of blooming. As you can see, the one in the center, this are my Echeveria onslow. The ones that are lighter in color are Echeveria onslow, and the one in the center is starting to bloom. It's very confusing for the succulents as well. The temperatures are not very stable in my city. During the nights it's cold and during the morning it's little cold, but around 12 to 4 p.m it's little bit warm. So I think the succulents are also quite confused. So as long as your city or your country does not experience snowfall and frost, it's absolutely okay to keep them outdoor. But for a lot of people who are from a location wherein they experience snowfall, I think it's time to move your succulents indoor. If you haven't moved them, move them indoor and put them under a grow light, because in case if there is a sudden frost, even one frost is enough to kill all of your succulents. So be very very careful. Apart from sempervivums, all of your echeverias and graptovarias, sedum, sedivarias, they will get rotted in frost. So you have to be extremely careful. Now the care remains the same. If you are a person who tends to use fertilizers, you can use it for majority of the succulents apart from echeverias, because echeverias are the only ones that are going to go dormant. This is one of the common succulent. There are definitely few more succulents that tend to go dormant during winters. But when it comes to our household succulents, which are very common ones, echeverias are the only ones that tend to go dormant during winters. So ensure that you do not add any fertilizers for echeverias. You can give it for your sedums and sedivarias and graptovarias, all the other varieties. They are going to do quite well. But just for echeverias, just reduce, or I would say just completely stop adding any fertilizers. Even for that matter, watering as well, reduce the watering, because as you can see, it's been almost 2.5 weeks that I've not watered my echeverias, but still I don't see any wrinkles on them. Which indicates that they are getting water. Now, how they are getting water is basically early in the morning, there is mist, the condensation happens, and that water tends to end up in the soil, and around half inch of the soil tends to get wet, and this is like an everyday thing. So basically they are getting watered every day, but not like a complete watering, a little bit. So that is more than enough for them to absorb, and that's how they have been doing quite well. I haven't seen any wrinkles on them as of now, so that's why I haven't watered. Probably when I'll see even one wrinkle is enough for me to indicate that they are thirsty, but it's been really long they haven't been watered. And as you can see, when I focus the lowest leaf as well, even that one does not have wrinkle, because as I said, they have been taking that water from that condensation. Now again, your succulents are not going to get overwatered because of that, because that water is very minimum. It's barely moist. It barely keeps your soil moist, not completely moist. So that is more than enough. So that's why this is one of the reason why you need to cut down on your watering, because there could be a lot of people could have this issue wherein the soil tends to get wet due to the condensation. So be extremely careful. If you're very confused, just wait for the wrinkles to show up on the leaves and then go ahead and water it. Now this is been 2.5 weeks. Probably I'll wait for another 5 to 6 days and then go ahead and water it, and we will see how it works. But as of now, I'm not going to water it. Fertilizers, any which ways, I do not use any fertilizers, be it during the growing season as well. And you can see they're doing quite well. In fact, the Echeveria onslow in the center is blooming, which is very confusing and which is very strange. But again, the environment is such that even the succulents tend to get confused. And for people who are from an area wherein they receive snowfall, ensure that you move your succulents indoor. use a good quality of grow light. Don't think like, okay, it's not going to snow, so I'm going to leave it outside. You never know what can happen. There can be a sudden change in the environment, so you need to be extremely careful, because even once if they come in contact with the frost, there is no going back. You cannot save your succulent if it is going to get rotted with the frost. So be extremely careful. Do not take that chance. Even if you have like 1% of doubt that the weather might change, it's always better to move them indoor. Also, there was another question: how long should we keep the grow lights on? Because usually we speak about checking the light outdoor. Now during winters, of course, the light tends to go off quite early. Like even in my city, by 5 p.m. it starts getting dark. So what I would suggest is continue to keep giving the same amount of light what you have been giving all this while, because any which ways your succulents are indoor. So even if it's dark outside, and if you have been keeping your lights on until 6 p.m. or probably 7 p.m., let them be on, because we do not want to deprive light any which ways. The light is very less during winters, so we do not want to deprive our succulents from light. Any which ways, it's always better as an individual, just keep a check. If you feel that the succulents are stretching because you have been cutting down on the light, then ensure that you give a little bit more light. This again completely depends upon you, because in some cities the light tends to go off quite early. It gets dark quite early, even in my city. Otherwise during summers it tends to get dark by 6:30 7 p.m., but now during winters it tends to get dark almost 2 hours prior. So I would say if you're growing them indoor, it's absolutely okay. Keep the lights on for the same time that you have been keeping throughout the year. Or probably you can just experiment and cut down on the light, and the succulent themselves will let you know if they need more light, because they will start to stretch. So in case if you happen to see them stretching, then ensure that you give them a little bit more of light. Remember that whatever that 9 to 10 hours of light, or some people keep it for 11 to 12 hours of they keep the grow lights on. So if that has been working out really well, just keep them on. Don't just cut down on the light just because it's dark outside. Probably your succulents might not be getting that sufficient light if you're going to cut down it to probably 8 hours or 7 hours. Any which ways, in my case, the succulents are not getting stretched. They are outdoor, even though it gets dark by 5 p.m., but I haven't seen them stretching. So probably they're doing quite well. They're not having an issue, because my succulents start getting light early in the morning from 7 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. So that has been working out really well, and I haven't seen them stretching. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.